Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another exciting weekend of games. I'm joking with these guys before we did the video that I have terrible with this introduction and outro. I come back in it. I'm like drawing blanks again. I'm like, just say the same thing. It really is not an exciting. It is exciting for Alex because his team finally gets to play again. But
very exciting.
The SEC goes, some of these games, I want to watch somebody. Well, since we brought up Wisconsin, let's start there. Alex, noon game. Oh, no.
Friday night.
8 p.m. game. Matt, you got Big Ten Network?
I think I've got Big Ten Network.
Yeah, you're going to have to get it, man. You got to watch this one. You got Illinois traveling to Wisconsin. Wisconsin opens up as a 20-point favorite. Alex,
damn,
we're not going to lie. You got to take this one over, man. I don't know anything about Illinois. I know a little bit about Wisconsin with our conversations, but take it away.
Sure. Well, let's start where it finished off last time with Lovie Smith in Illinois. Unfortunately, they upset us last year with the field goal. That's right. It knocked us off. So, I can't help but come in and be a little bit worried about that, even if Wisconsin might be a 20-point favorite. There's a bunch of different factors in this game. Obviously, I'm pulling for Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to win this game. However, you have to understand Jonathan Taylor, who's been their offense the past few years, the guy that they can rely on to have over 1,000 yards rushing a season is no longer with them. So, you're going to have to look at other running backs now and see if they can carry the weight. On top of that, they lost Quintez Cephas, a top wide receiver. So again, we're going to need receivers to step up. Returning though is a tight end, Jake Ferguson. He's a solid playmaker. But really, when you talk about tight ends and wide receivers and performing, you need a quarterback to do that. Absolutely. One big major problem that Wisconsin's had 3 weeks ago, Jack Cohn went down with a foot injury. He's been a solid quarterback, I would say, since Hornibrook left. He hasn't been I wouldn't say he's like a star where he's like flashy or anything like that, but he's consistent. And it fits well with the Wisconsin program because that's what you need at the quarterback position. It's just that consistency on third down. You don't need to make anything big happen when we had the running backs, you know what I mean, to do that for us. But, with him out, that opens the door for the up-and-coming star Graham Mertz. There's a lot of buzz around Graham when he came into Wisconsin. There was a lot of people last year when he was a freshman, including myself, that wanted to see him play. I thought, why not use him freshman year and see if the hype was real? But, they decided to wait. And now, I think it's a perfect way to transition him in to see, exactly what he can do. So I'm excited. I think this will be his his big debut. So we'll see what he does.
Yeah, that's got to be – are they changing anything? Did they say they're going to try to open it up and be a little bit more balanced?
So there hasn't – they haven't really talked a whole lot about what that offense is. How is it going to change? How is it going to adapt? But, I mean, you have to think, a few things, right? You have to think if you have a top recruit at quarterback – that you're going to, and you just lost one of the top running backs in the country, and you don't necessarily have a solid, I don't even want to say you don't have a solid, but you don't have a trusted running back yet to fill that position. I think you almost have to, see what the kid can do throwing it in a game like Illinois, you know what I mean? Especially a team like Illinois that, let the young kid in there, let him beat up on him a little bit and see what he can do. So I don't know. I think that it's going to be a more balanced team this season. I just have a feeling like they're going to have to. I think we get into trouble early with Illinois if they don't pass. I think if they try to stick to the usual run game and expect, Jonathan Taylor's numbers from Watson or someone else, it's not going to cut it, and Lovie Smith's going to see right through it. And you got to think, excuse me, Lovie Smith, defensive genius, right? So he's going to come in there knowing that Jonathan Taylor's not there, and he outsmarted them last year with the Jonathan Taylor situation. So I don't know. I wouldn't, I wouldn't underestimate Lovie Smith by any means, but I'm going to go with Wisconsin on this one.
Yeah. I'm taking Wisconsin. Season opener, disappointing season. I mean, fans' expectations, disappointing season last year for Wisconsin. I know they had high hopes in the middle of the season. Y'all went to the Rose Bowl, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Who did y'all play out there?
Oregon.
The final
It was close. Oregon won, though. I forget the exact final score.
Yeah. If they would have been able to win that Rose Bowl, I think the fan base would have been satisfied, but definitely disappointed when you lost to Illinois in the regular season and ended up losing to Ohio State. I don't think that one was even close in that Big Ten championship game. I don't want to rehash bad memories, but yeah, I think that's the next step for Wisconsin. We talked off the cam about they need to get better at recruiting, and I think if they could show a little bit more balance, they'll get better at recruiting. They'll get more recruits to start noticing Wisconsin football. It's still going to be hard to recruit. You're tucked at the very northern part of the country. You're recruiting hotbeds from Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. But you got to start winning back some of those recruits from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. You got to get in there and take some of those back. I'm definitely going Wisconsin, 20-point favorite at home. I can't wait to see it because I can't wait to watch the Big Ten football this season. I'm definitely excited to see how things play out there. They definitely are the second most exciting conference after the SEC, in my opinion. What about you, Matt? Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Wisconsin as well. I just think Wisconsin, from what I've seen in years past, Wisconsin's the better team when it comes to facing somebody like Illinois. And my biggest thing with the Big Ten this year is how are the players going to be in every game this year with the psyche, like what their psyche going to be like? Because you got to think they went into the summer just like everybody. Are we going to play? Or are we not going to play? And then Justin Fields was one of the biggest ones saying, "Let us play." And then Big Ten ultimately ended up postponing. And then, so some of those guys, are they ready to get back in it and be ready to go this weekend?
Yeah,
that's one thing I'm going to be watching for sure.
You got to think Justin Fields and Donald J. Trump. I don't know if you saw he took credit for the Big Ten.
President Trump got thing going.
All right. Jesus. Yeah, Wisconsin cruises this one. Who y'all got next week? Just to kind of look ahead.
Nebraska.
Okay. And they'll be coming off of Ohio State ass beating. So.
Yeah.
Oh man, it'll be 0-2 again for Scott Frost and company.
And then they go to Penn State after us.
Damn, 0-3.
I think it's Penn State. Yeah, no, the Big Ten's punishing them.
You better not tell that to any Auburn fans, man. That really isn't fair, right there. We got a noon game, SEC Network, Auburn and Ole Miss, two of the teams that got upset this weekend. One more surprising than the other. Auburn definitely looks very regressive from where they were last year. I don't see any improvement. We knew that some of the skill players were gone, but they've just struggled offensively to consistently keep drives alive and put points up. Ole Miss has not struggled moving the ball. They've had struggles stopping other teams from moving the ball. Most teams able to boat race Ole Miss out of the game. This game, I think, Auburn's a 3-point favorite on the road. It's interesting for me. I think that might be a trap. Vegas might be seeing something that I think most people would jump all over. in this game. I mean, Ole Miss has looked crazy good offensively, but both these teams struggled mightily with turnovers last week. I think Auburn had 3 turnovers last week, and Ole
Yep.
Miss 7 turnovers. Oh, I'm going with Ole Miss again. I have not seen anything from Auburn that excites me. Their defense isn't as good as it should be. Their secondary definitely is bad. I mean, Ole Miss is going to line up there, but and their offense, you're seeing an Auburn team that's losing a lot of pieces last year and has not been able to recoup most of that. I'm definitely going Ole Miss. What about you boys?
I'm gonna go with Ole Miss as well. I'm with you, Justin, on Auburn. They have not impressed me whatsoever at all this year. I don't know if either of you guys caught it, but Bo Nix and Seth Williams got into a pretty heated exchange on the sideline. There about midway through the game. I can't remember what quarter it was, but Bo Nix just threw, I guess it was his 3rd INT, and they got into a pretty heated exchange, and some of the assistant coaches had to get in between them. Of course, I mean, we know Seth Williams would have beaten the shit out of Bo Nix anyway. No, Auburn is just Auburn's just a train wreck this year. They've not impressed me at all, and like Justin said, Ole Miss is just going to shred their DBs. And I've been more impressed with Ole Miss this year than I have Auburn, so I'm gonna go with Ole Miss.
Yeah. But you, Alex?
Yeah, I think, just the sloppy play from Auburn the past few weeks, right? With Arkansas barely getting out of that one, and then moving on last week with South Carolina. Really, it's the quarterback position for me that's like making me stay away from Auburn on this one. I think the offense, when it clicks with Ole Miss, and I think they have the ability to be explosive from the get-go. So I'm going to go with Ole Miss on this one as well. I think it's the safer choice, picking the team with 7 turnovers last week, but here we are. So I guess they're the safer choice for me.
I think Corral took a shower because he had 1 interception leading into that game, and he ended up throwing 6 on Saturday. He had 1 interception. It was a deflected ball to the line. Yowzer. I mean, he I don't know what it was. Did he eat something different for breakfast that morning? Or was he thinking that all the Arkansas players were on his team? I don't know. He really struggled. But, yeah, I think he gets it corrected. Speaking of teams that are absolutely disappointing year in, year out constantly, Tennessee is a big host this weekend to Alabama. This game apparently is the SEC game of the week, if that tells you enough about the SEC this week. 3:30 on CBS. Alabama opens up as a 21-point favorite. That is not enough at all. You want to start this one off, Matt?
Yeah. For those of you who are betting men and women, I would take Alabama in a heartbeat in this game because Tennessee is just from what I read earlier today, Garetano may not even be starting this week. Like, apparently Pruitt is still up in the air on who he's going to start this week. So we don't even know.
Bailey. Bailey didn't even play this week. They have like 5 quarterbacks. No, he came in late against Kentucky.
Yeah, he came in late in the 4th quarter. Yeah.
They have like 4 quarterbacks that are all, I guess, mediocre. We don't know much about Bailey yet, but they have Shrout, Bauer, and Jesus, Jared Garetano, the most inconsistent dude in college football.
Yeah. If there's a game for Alabama.
Sorry,
No,
you taking Tennessee?
I'm taking Alabama in a heartbeat.
Oh, you're taking
Alabama. If there's a game for taking Alabama. If there's a game for Alabama just to roll over somebody, it's this game for sure. They're not playing Vandy this year, so they're going to roll over them.
Would that be the most shocking game in the history of college football if Tennessee goes out there and beats Alabama this weekend?
Yes,
for
after
sure.
getting annihilated by Kentucky and Georgia back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, it would be.
Holy moly. Any thoughts there, Alex?
So I don't know about you guys, but I think Tennessee might be back. I'm just kidding.
They are.
No.
They are back.
I think that, this one's just too easy. I mean, Alabama is going to come out there. If it's anything like the numbers they put up on Georgia, and Georgia has a top defense in the country, I mean, they are just – I agree with you, Justin. 21 points is not enough. I think they're going to – it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be really, really bad for Tennessee.
Let me quickly try to look up a stat that I want you all to know here. All right. So Georgia had 193 yards rushing against Tennessee. And if you took out the sacks and you took out the kneel down, they had 5.8 yards per carry in that game. What do you think Najee Harris is going to do to Tennessee's defense this
Right.
week? I mean, my God.
He's going to run all over him.
This is almost like a game, like the Vanderbilt game. So we didn't even need to talk about. I mean, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath, and I'm here for it. I'll definitely watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing beats the tradition. I know it's usually September or early October, but nothing beats the tradition of watching Tennessee get absolutely blasted by every team in the SEC. Matt, your boys play on the road at Missouri, courtesy of Florida's COVID outbreak.
Yeah. This originally was supposed to be the Georgia game in Lexington, but because of the rescheduling, because of COVID, which we all knew something was going to happen at some point in time, is now been moved to a road game in Columbia, Missouri. I am going to go ahead and get my pick out of the way. I am going to go ahead and pick Kentucky because I think Kentucky is clearly a better team. I have not gotten a chance to sat down and really observed Missouri this year. I don't know what they are. I know they had the goal line stand against LSU to win that game. Of course, they got trounced by Alabama, which is expected.
Yeah.
And then they got beat by Tennessee, second game of the season. So, but if Kentucky's defense is any indication in the last 2 weeks of what's to come, then Missouri's not winning this game. We'll shut down Missouri just like we did Tennessee, Mississippi State. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick Kentucky, and hopefully the offense continues to improve. I thought, like I said earlier, it improved a lot between Mississippi State and Tennessee, and hopefully it just keeps getting better and better. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick Kentucky.
There you go. Well, Missouri switched it up at quarterback during the LSU game, and the guy actually had a pretty damn good game. He threw for 406 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 INTs, 1 sack. I mean, it had an incredible game, but I mean, again, this is the same team LSU that we saw KJ Costello go for 623 yards. So, not sure exactly what to take away from that game. Their defense clearly wasn't stopping LSU very much, other than the goal line stand. But they had no problem moving the ball. Roundtree's another good running back, had 119 yards against LSU.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of the same team. They're not as obviously defensive as they've been under Barry Odom, but I'm interested to see. I mean, this is kind of a weird game having. I don't know if he started the game against LSU. I don't think he did, but to see him have a first-time start against a team that just walked away with 2 pick sixes, 3 interceptions, that may not bode well for them, especially with the game being moved around. And Missouri didn't play last week, So they're getting a pseudo bye week before they play you guys.
Yeah.
Again, Missouri was supposed to play Florida this week. Kentucky was supposed to play Georgia this week. I think both of them are happy that they're not playing either of those two opponents.
Yeah.
I think this is the hardest game for me to pick that we have here for sure. I'm gonna lean with Kentucky. I don't think that. I think if it gets into a high scoring game, Kentucky's doomed. If Kentucky can shut down Missouri, I think you could see a more improved Terry Wilson play. And Kentucky could walk away with a 10-point win. I'm going to go with Kentucky here on the road. I think Kentucky's running attack is really impressive and could give Missouri a lot of fits. And of course, the defense is going to be able to capitalize on a lot of mistakes from a relatively quarterback. What about you, Alex?
I think the same thing. I'm leaning Kentucky on this one as well. I think just after last week, it was an impressive win all the way around. It wasn't just a fluke win. It was a dominant win. I think they're going to be riding that energy into this week, and I think I think Kentucky will win.
Yeah. The interesting. We have an interesting over/under this week. It's 47 for this game. I think it's got to be over. We'll see.
Yeah,
but Missouri's defense does not look like it can stop a dime other than a goal line stand against LSU. But if Kentucky's defense shows up, it could be a lower scoring game. But we'll see. We'll see, man.
We'll see.
Then the next game is a 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN. You got South Carolina traveling to LSU. LSU was supposed to play Florida last week, so they get basically a bye week before this game to kind of fix what they've got. And they started the season off 1-2. Most people thought LSU would be down, but even in the COVID year, 1-2 is a shock, especially with who they've lost to: Missouri, Mississippi State. Their only wins against Vanderbilt. Nothing to hang a hat on. But I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way. I'm picking LSU and by a mile in this one.
By a mile.
I think LSU, not just the bye week, I think LSU's offense has been one of the top 3 offenses in the SEC. Maybe 4th if you put Ole Miss in there. So I think it definitely is Alabama, Florida, and then Ole Miss or LSU, however you want to put them. They're the most sneaky team offensively out of any team in the country. I mean, they put up 41 points against Mississippi State. They put up a butt ton against Vanderbilt. They put up another 41. And then they put 41. So if LSU could score 42 points, they might beat a team. But, I mean, 41 points a game, and they're not playing terrible defenses. They're playing pretty decent defenses. So you got to see that getting, having some success against South Carolina, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm taking LSU by 2 touchdowns in that game. Who wants next?
I can go. I think I agree with you on this one. I think LSU. I think that bye week will help them out a lot. I think it's a chance for them to really slow down and figure out, who they are as a team. I think coming out of the gate, it's already a weird year with everything, right? With the whole COVID stuff and the uncertainty around the season. But I think they just, they didn't know what they were going to do. You know what I mean? You come off of a national championship, and it's a lot of pressure. And I feel like the pressure just got to them. And I almost think, the way that the whole Florida thing going into that week, I think Florida would have beaten LSU handedly. I think they would have dominated them. But
LSU
now,
would have scored a lot of points against that Florida defense. So I would promise you that.
I just think that now, I feel like they got such a break getting that bye when they did, because it gave them a chance to reevaluate, relook at things, and I think we're going to see a little bit of a different team going forward here, a little bit more solid of a team. They may lose, another game here or there, but I think they're going to be a tougher opponent going forward.
Yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention, going into that Florida game, what ended up being their bye week, Miles Brennan, their quarterback, was doubtful for the Florida game. So they will get him back this week against South Carolina. So that is good news for LSU fans because he is lighting it up over there on that side of the ball. What do you think, Matt?
I'm going to agree with both of you guys. I'm going to go with LSU. Like I've said before, nothing about South Carolina has impressed me at all this year. I know they just came off a big win over Auburn, but Auburn's nothing this year, to be honest with you. I think with the unexpected bye week and their starting quarterback going to be 100%, I think LSU wins this game pretty easily.
Yeah. So we all agree on that one. So to this point, we disagreed on any.
Nope.
Not that I see.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so.
This game we might disagree on. 7:30 game on ABC. You have number 18 Michigan, another Big Ten matchup here, versus number 21 Minnesota. The battle of the little brown jug. Moonshine, right?
Yeah.
You got moonshine in that thing, huh?
Right.
Help us out here, Alex. I know going into the off season.
Sure. So let's take a look at a few things. First thing, you got to talk about Minnesota here. They're not the same Minnesota team as they have been in the previous years. Last year they were more solid, right? They were a top 10 team by the end of the year. I don't know where they finished, but I know towards the end of that season they were in the, I think, top 15. I think they probably finished in the top 15. I think they're a solid team. Michigan, I don't know. Michigan kills me because, the games you don't think they're going to show up, they show up and they look really good, even though I don't have a lot of trust in Harbaugh or Michigan to show up and win. I think this is a game that they could completely blow, and Michigan could come in and dominate. One of the big takeaways, Michigan, I don't know if Michigan's quarterback is coming back. I think he was a senior last year, though.
Shea Patterson.
Yeah, is he back?
Yeah.
I think he graduated.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I don't think he's back. And then you got to think also they lost Donovan Peoples-Jones too, because he got drafted to the Browns. So you take away those two key players, and those were the guys that got him out of those bowls. You know what I mean? If they were losing or so someone has to step up there. But here's something that's a little concerning. I want to go Minnesota on this as an upset, but the only thing that's concerning is I saw an article today talking about, or actually the article was written yesterday. There was a few articles written about the Minnesota head coach saying they're going to be without some of their players, and he's not releasing who they are or how many because of COVID.
Oh, no.
So that's concerning. So I don't know. I think the safe bet for me on this one, I do want to go Minnesota, but without knowing who those players are, I don't know. I'm really torn on this one. I don't know. I really want to go with Minnesota, but I think the safe bet on this one is Michigan. I think they get it done. So I think I'm going to stick with Michigan on this one.
Matt?
I unfortunately do not know too much about either team. I did know about Michigan losing their starting quarterback, Shea Patterson, to graduation. But I'll go ahead and make my pick. I think I'm going to stick with Michigan because I've seen more of Michigan in the past few years. I've not watched a lot of Minnesota Golden Gopher football, but I'm just going to go with Michigan because I know a little bit more about them from years past, and I don't trust Harbaugh as a head coach, but I think he's a decent head coach, and he'll have his guys ready, and they'll win this game.
Alex, before I make my pick, fill us in. What are they doing as far as crowd capacity in the Big Ten?
I think it's going to be – I don't think there'll be any crowd. I think Wisconsin, I don't think they're having anyone there.
0 fans in the stands?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Holy moly. I'm not going to change my pick. I'm picking Minnesota. Michigan goes down just like they did in the Peach Bowl. No, like Matt, it's so hard, especially in the offseason. It's like I have a good feel for SEC depth, so you know kind of what to expect from a team going into the next year. Without seeing any games right now, I have a hard time picking this game either which way. But I'm going to lead with the home team, just solely off of the home bases. I know there may not be any fans, but there's still the travel. We saw that affect a lot of teams at first. It's kind of a weird deal. You got to travel out Friday night. It's kind of a rush. You don't go anywhere, stay in your bubble, and then you get rushed over to the stadium. There you go. You're playing a 7:30 kickoff on prime time television, ABC. I'm going to say Minnesota is going to take this opportunity. This be a good chance for a team out in the West to really give Wisconsin a good season. You know what I mean? Wisconsin needs a team like this. I know Michigan's on their schedule too, but Wisconsin really needs a team like this to prepare for what is inevitably going to be Ohio State or Penn State when they get to the Big Ten championship game. I'm picking Minnesota, and I'm sticking with that. Don't ask me to defend it.
I think you're onto something there. I think with Minnesota, their quarterback Tanner Morgan, he's coming off of a great season last year. You know what I mean? So as long as he's not one of the players that are down, I really do think it could go either way. But the concerning thing is the coach not telling us who's out. So
right.
Hopefully it's not like a star wide receiver or running back or the quarterback, or else I think they're going to have problems.
Yeah. Or 4 of your 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah, right.
That would be real great. There's a fun story for you. During the 2013 season, Florida's 4-8 season. That's the year they lost to Georgia Southern. We had 1 week where we lost 3 of our offensive linemen to scooter accidents. I'm not. I wish I could have made that up. I'm serious.
Wow.
3 offensive linemen in separate accidents. It's not like they were all piled on one scooter and got hit by a car. Like 3 of them
crazy
in 1 week. So that would obviously you don't want to see any of these kids with COVID or anything like that. So hopefully that Minnesota is some of their skilled players aren't affected by this, and we get to see a big game because it is exciting to have the Big Ten back. I know Alex is juiced. I'm juiced given the SEC schedule. Watch some Big Ten football this week.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Any other games that we didn't take a pick that you are going to keep an eye on in the Big Ten, Alex?
I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously Ohio State and Nebraska. I think Nebraska is going to get slaughtered, but I do want to see. I think it'll be a good test to see how good Nebraska is, because like some years they're not as bad or they're just god awful. But at the end of the day, if they come out and just absolutely get destroyed by Ohio State, it still might not be a good gauge on how good they are. It could just be Ohio State's that good. You know what I mean? Because there's one thing that I think Ohio State definitely has an advantage this year, and it's with Justin Fields, right? He was give credit where credit's due. He was the only player that really stepped up in the Big Ten to help bring, the season back. Like, I really, truly believe if he wasn't as vocal, I don't think they would have played or made a decision, sooner than they did. So I think, that competitive edge, like, he's ready to go. And he knows, like, he did this, so he needs to show out. So it's going to be interesting to see the season he has. I'm excited for it, but then again, I'm not excited for his season. But we'll see what he does. I'm excited though to watch him play.
You hope he does really good every game except for the Big Ten championship, right?
Exactly. Yep.
He all of a sudden they run Jared Garantano out there in his place. That it is going to be interesting to see Fields' Heisman campaign start. I definitely want to see also what they're going to do without Chase Young and without Auburn. These were two elite players that they lost from a year ago. So I'm sure it's Ohio State. They recruit with the best of them. They're going to have good players. Do they have leaders that's going to lead them that way? They got Fields, clearly, but who is it going to be on that defensive side of the ball that keeps Ohio State at this championship elite level? I'm interested. You joked about it off camera, but that Penn State Indiana game, I don't have no idea why that's a 6.5 point spread on that one.
I don't know.
Vegas knows no there.
Penn State is one of those schools where they come out each year and they're consistent on the product they deliver, right? Like, it's just smash mouth, balanced football. I feel like they pass more than a team like Wisconsin, but it's very similar to Wisconsin. Usually there's a strong running back, a really strong offensive line. And Indiana, I mean, come on. Like, I don't think Indiana's going to stand a chance against Penn State. I just don't.
They gave Tennessee a game. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, the juggernauts. I mean, they look, Tennessee, before this 2-game split, they had the longest winning streak, tied for first in the entire country. I mean, you can't discredit Tennessee completely. I think you're right. I think it's interesting to see that line, but I do think Penn State will absolutely, because it's that year, right? Like, they got to start proving that they can hang with Ohio State and Wisconsin and show up in the Big Ten championship. It's too few of seasons to see Penn State. And if
you got to think too. I was going to say, you got to think too. Next week, the night game got moved because next week, well, not this week, but the following week for the Big Ten, like the second week, Penn State plays Ohio State at Penn State. So both of these teams are probably going to be watching the other team, and that Nebraska is going to be Ohio State's punching bag, and Indiana is going to be Penn State's punching bag, and they're going to show them, like, they need to be afraid of each other. So I think they're really going to take it to those two teams, to get ready to go play each other. So
absolutely. That should be the premier game for sure that weekend, right?
Yeah.
Well, all right, boys, that'll do it. Again, I can't wait. I'm fired up to watch some Big Ten football. It's the first time in a while. I mean, the COVID thing has just made everything having to watch some of those games in the first 3 weeks. It was, interesting at very most. I mean, but to see the Big Ten come back in it, it's good to see for college football. And you get a lot more of a complete week in, week out schedule where you can see you don't have to watch Arkansas, Ole Miss, even though that game ended up being pretty exciting in its own right, but you don't have to watch one of those games at the 3:30 slot. Like, you actually get big time matchups. So All right, any final thoughts from either of you guys? Just fired up, ready to go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just like you, I'm excited. The Big Ten's back. It's more of a balance to the college football world. The quality of games will go up, which is good. I think the rankings will finally sort themselves out in the coming weeks. Probably the next 3 weeks, I think we'll see what where the chips fall. But it's just one of those things where I know we talked about it last week, where we were sitting here planning all these games, and then Friday we were all texting each other like, "Oh shit, hey." This game got delayed. This game got delayed. So I really hope that doesn't happen this week. But it's just crazy, right? It's the world we live in where, games get postponed and things get switched around. So I just really hope this week all the games stay, and we're able to get through it. But yeah, so I'm excited. Just, ready for the balance to be back.
Yeah.
Alex, you got a prediction on Wisconsin season?
I don't yet. I feel like a lot of it's going to depend getting a feel for them against Illinois, seeing how that offense works and how it clicks without Jack Cohn. So I feel like once I see that, I'll have a better understanding. And I'm also, I'm curious to see which running back we go with. Do we stick with Watson, right, who's been there a while, not as good as Jonathan Taylor? Or do you try to use the freshman, I think his name's Jalen Berger, again, a top recruit. I don't know if they go with him, and who knows how, Graham Mertz does passing the ball. I think it's a weird year. It's a really, really weird year for Wisconsin football because it's like, I don't think the run game is going to work as much this year, and they're going to have to pass. So it's just going to be how well are the receivers, how well do the receivers take to that? And how well does the coaching staff take to that? You know what I mean? They just love to run the ball, and they're going to have to be more open-minded to, a different style of play in order for us to be successful. So we'll see what happens Friday night. I feel like, I'm sure once we meet back up and talk about, recaps and everything like that, I'll probably have a better answer for you then on how I think the season will go for them. But I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, like always, guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep.